Hi friends, this is our second lesson, lesson 2, and Mrs. B forgot to change the 7.1 to 7.2. Sorry about that. I'm going to review the parts of a clock, and then if you notice, I did my best drawing, and I'm going to be showing you how to draw the hands on the analog clock. And again, we're going to practice how it looks with the digital time and the analog time. Remember, this is called the face of the clock. It has the numbers on there in the hands. This red one is called the hour hand, or the smaller one is called the hour hand. The bigger one, the bigger hand on the clock is called the minute hand. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to be doing an activity where I'm going to put a time digitally and then show it to you on a clock. Your homework today will also have that where you're going to have to be drawing hands on the clock. One important thing you need to remember when you're drawing your hands on your clock is the hour one has to be smaller and the minute one bigger, longer. You have to really be careful on that, because if they look the same size, then I won't know, or second grade teachers won't know for sure if you know how to write the hour and minute hand. And I'll give you an example. All right, Mrs. B is going to put the time. I'm going to put 3 o'clock. Again, the first part is the hour, 3. There's the colon, and this tells you the minutes. Now, we know the o'clock time points to the 12. So I'm going to show you what you shouldn't do. Here's our, oh my, they're both the same size. So what I would need to do to show 3 o'clock is I would have to make sure the hour hand is smaller. Now, it can't be too small. They might be a little small now that I'm looking at it. So here's 3 o'clock. The hour, the o'clock time is the big hand, the minute hand. There's my 3 o'clock. Now, sometimes boys and girls learn in kindergarten not even to make the little arrow. Sometimes they just do this, which should be okay too. I'm used to making the little arrow like that. And again, 3 o'clock. The 3 is for the hour. It's pointing to the hour. The o'clock time, it's starting over a new hour, so you point to the 12. Mrs. B is going to do probably about 4 or 5 of these different ways. I'm going to show the time here and then show you digitally what it looks like. And then I'll do some here and show you there. All right, I did 3 o'clock. Now, you can leave the big hand because we're talking just o'clock time. So you can always leave the big hand here because that's the o'clock time. I always like to make a little circle in the middle. All right, we did 3 o'clock. How about if I do 8 o'clock? Some of you that might be your bedtime. So here's the o'clock. I have to do the hour. And you have to be careful. You're pointing it to the number. My clock's not the best, but it's pretty good. The 12 is at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 8 o'clock. 9, 10, 11, 12. If it goes in between, it's not right. You have to be really careful because that almost looks like 9 o'clock. So when it says 8 o'clock, you have to make sure the hour hand is pointing to the 8. The minute hand is the o'clock time. So here's what 8 o'clock. Now, we're going to talk about this in a later lesson, 8 o'clock a.m. or 8 o'clock p.m. because there's a difference. A.m. at 8 o'clock is probably, now it's probably getting up and eating breakfast. 8 o'clock when we had school would be getting ready to leave and get ready to go to school. 8 o'clock p.m. is in the evening. So we're going to talk about that in our next lesson. All right, here we go. I'm going to erase both just to practice making the size of the hands. Here's our little circle. Let's see. All right, I'm going to do 6 o'clock. This gets kind of tricky because, again, we have to think about how the hour hand looks and the minute hand. I know 6 is here. There's my hour. The hour is 6 o'clock. And the minute hand, there's my o'clock time. So that says 6 o'clock. A lot of boys and girls say, oh, it's 12:06. That's not really a time. We read the hour first, 6 o'clock, and that's how it looks. Now, Mrs. B's going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to use my analog clock and look at the clock, and then I'm going to tell you what digital time it is. All right, I'm going to do this. Right now, see if you can tell what time it is. Say it in your head. Say it out loud. It is 11 o'clock. Hope you got it right. We'll do a few more. How about let's think. It's 1. The hour is 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Ooh, couple more. Mrs. B just lost her eraser. I use my rag. How about 3 o'clock? So there it is, pointing to the 3. There's our o'clock time. Now we're going to reverse it again, and I'm going to show on the analog clock a time, and we're going to practice. Your homework tonight will have this where you're going to be practicing drawing your hands on the clock, as well as writing it down for digital time. I'm checking ahead to see. So that's really going to be important, practicing drawing those hands on the clock as well as time. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just reading the time on the clock. But we're going to get to practicing drawing the hands because I really think that's important. All right, here we go. Fix that 12. There's the o'clock. And, ooh. What is that one? They're both on the 12. So look at the hour hand. The littler one, it's pointing to the 12. And it's starting a new hour, so it's 12 o'clock. That's a little different. That's a tricky one. I like doing that one. All right, let me do a couple more. I lost my rag. Here we go. That's a little too big. See, even Mrs. B makes mistakes. Let me make it a little smaller. There we go. I'm looking at the hour. It's 5. And then the o'clock time. All right. Today, that's all I'm going to be showing you. I'd like for you to practice. And again, the homework is just looking at the analog clock and then putting in the digital time next to it. So you're going to have to look at the hour hand and the minute hand and then put your answer in. Your homework is on page 155, and then your remembering page is 156. And again, the remembering page is review of things that we've already talked about. I know you're trying your best and do your best work. I'll see you next time. Bye.